Pulse chain of itself has the most opportunity. When I say opportunity, looking at like AVAX or looking at Cardano or looking at Bitcoin, how many X's are they going to present themselves? They're going to be a blue chip, you know what I mean? But like, if you really want to get into crypto, like Pulse chain is the most beautiful thing.
Yeah, so I agree. And, Coach X, to your mission statement and your purpose, to have linear purpose and with a platform like Pulse Chain and the ability for the average, common, passionate, hungry human, American human, everybody, it's a lifetime opportunity. And, it has to cross their eyes and has to be kind of translated to them for them to capitalize on it. So continue to preach in the land of capitalism so more can capitalize. And that's great.
You guys have a good conversation going.
Ian, as a Pulse Chain player and an outsider from East, what do you think, brother? What's the reason for Pulse Chain for you?
So, I mean, there's a few reasons that I love Pulse Chain, right? You guys are talking about just more of an even playing field, right? It's like, think about it. The past couple months, Teddy Bear went to a 30 mil market cap from 50K within a week or a couple weeks. PDI went to 60 mil. Atropa went to 30 mil. TSFI went to 6 mil. And this is just all popping off in one ecosystem. Now, that doesn't even seem that high, but when you're able to get in at a freaking, 20K market cap, 10K market cap, when you're able to get in sub 100K market cap, because it's not just botted up with sniper bots getting dumped in your face, and you could sleep at night because it's not as volatile. I don't feel like, obviously the volume's not as much, but there's just slow mooners, and then when they catch hype, it flies up. And not only that, when you're pulling your gains out, now you're putting it in Pulse Chain, which in my opinion is at its very bottom. We have the court case coming up, Richard Hart, in November. Maybe nothing comes of it, but if anything positive does, and B-Roots looked this stat up, 98% of all SEC lawsuits get settled. 98%. So in my eyes, it's basically, if you have money, you got to pay to play. You got to basically pay the cartel off. They're coming for Richard Hart. He made major gains last bull market, and they're coming to get their cut. So in my eyes, it's just a matter of time before it gets settled or it gets dropped or whatever happens, but I think it's going to be positive. So not only are you pulling gains out in the DGEM world, now you're holding a layer one, which Ethereum will probably do an 8x max, and you have Pulse Chain that the sky's the limit. You could get 1,000x, you could get 100x, 50x, whatever you can speculate on. But we have a brand new layer one Pulse Chain. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's more of a fair playing ground. You have copies of your ERC20s on the same side. Like Pepe ran up to 20 mil market cap from nothing, and it was a copy of the Pepe coin. So it won't be long.
Yo, not to interrupt, but it was actually like 45 or 50.
Okay,
Like,
yeah,
you're
no,
right.
45 or 50 mil. So, it won't be long before one of these big coins hits parity, and then everyone's going to be speculating on the next coin, which coin is going to hit parity next. And think about it. When you're a retail investor, like you guys are talking about, we need to focus on retail. Well, you tell me, retail shows up to crypto, they hear about it on the news, they want to go ape in a coin, they hear about SHIB or whatever the hottest coin is, Pepe, and they look at it and they want to ape their $500, $1,000 because they're new and they're scared and they don't know what they're doing. You think they're going to pay a G in gas fees just to ape in? No, they're going to look at it and be like, well, I go over to Pulse Chain, pay pennies on the dollar, make a transaction. The traders are going to come over because they want to be able to trade. They can't trade over there. People are going to get priced out on Ethereum, and BNB's dead. So I think Pulse Chain's the landing site, and I think it's the hottest layer one. And look at the community that has grown. Even though we have our differences, we fight sometimes, but what community doesn't? We're growing, and that's why I love Pulse Chain, man.
Thing with the SEC Richard Hart debacle in November, that's not like a trial. Isn't that more of a
It's just
hearing,
a
Ian?
preliminary hearing,
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's just the start of it,
But you know
honestly.
what?
So
That's an amazing thing for people because that allows people to get in before, things actually get settled. And like Ian's saying, it hasn't had that 1,000x like Ethereum has. And you know what, man? B-Roots has made a shitload of money on a few coins before. And I don't know if Ian and B-Roots are saying that, I'm kind of there too. And it is really nice that you're not running into those bots where they have that floor held at 150K, 200K. And now, these calls are getting sent out, but then they're just emptying their 100, 200 wallets. So that is nice to know. So thank you for that, Ian.
Why would these people come over to Pulse Chain? What's the value for Pulse Chain in general?
Well, they come for different reasons. Right now, they would, like, the trader would come because of the volatility and how easy it is to get in and out. So that's good and bad for some. I mean, that, you know, for long-term holders, you kind of just let that go a little bit. If you can do both and you're good at it, then that's the best person around. And if you can get with someone that knows that and they want to help you with that, then great. But a lot of times it's the Jeters or the holders, right? And so you get a little bit of best of both worlds here, because of the fact that the fees are a big thing right now. And like Ethereum's going to go to $10,000. I mean, it's going to be 6, 7, 8,000 whenever the next bull run, 5, whatever that number is. You know, when the fees get to where they're $400 or $500 again, and imagine if they're $1,000 to do a transaction, that's another reason to get out of there. Look, I was an old school OG Hexagon, like in the shadows. Like, I've been around a long time. To me, Pulse Chain right now feels like Ethereum did back in, like, I think it was 2016, maybe. It was between 15, 16, somewhere in there. There was these new projects getting started here and there. To me, it feels good because it's early. Anytime you can be early to anything, I don't care. This is what I tell people, like with Apple. Back in the late 80s or something, people were like, man, I wish I could have got into Apple 5 years ago. In like the late 90s, they were like, man, I wish I could have got into Apple 5 years ago. And then in the early 2000s, they were like, man, I wish I could have got into Apple 5 years ago. And they're still doing it. So that's where people need to look at this.
Look at the word Ethereum. Like, that's so Chinese. You know what I mean? Look at Pulse Chain. Like, if anybody's going to get dApp participation, like, yeah, there's people who own Pulse Chain, there's people who own Ethereum, but if you want to get people doing dApp protocols and using protocols like Web3 is, Pulse Chain is going to be the thing, because it just sounds westernized. And I think it could absorb a lot of volume that will follow into Ethereum, but in a more westernized sense of activity.
I do believe Pulse Chain will be the most liquid chain ever to be created, in my opinion. So take those words with a grain of salt. There's an individual named Richard Hart that said something on the lines of that. So I'm just going off of Big Daddy, because Pulse Chain has the most validators. So literally, it's one of the most decentralized blockchains. Avalanche doesn't even come close. Polygon doesn't even come close. You got to be a freaking whale to be a validator on ETH. So it's like, those are the things that ultimately are going to bring the masses. Like, what's our ultimate goal? Even with drama and futters and all this kind of like BS and stuff like that, we're trying to onboard people to Pulse Chain. We're trying to bring on people to true DeFi, real DeFi. There's a lot of projects that still haven't even came out that it's going to be a big part for the whole ecosystem.
If you guys don't know Richard's overall plan, like, it's to the moon, like, literally.
Yeah, like, the best way that you can help people is by making them rich as fuck, so that they can then go help other people, right? It's kind of the basis. You know, I don't know what plans y'all have, you know, if you achieve sudden wealth syndrome. I have literally, like, a few composition books. And ironically, none of them include buying a Lambo. It's just renting the Lambo.
Totally.
Let's say you put in $10,000 at PLS, and PLS does a 1,000x. That's like $10 million, right? So it's so crazy that, like, you can put in a comparatively small amount of money and then take out millions and millions and millions of dollars just out of thin air. And I was explaining that to him, and he was like so mind blown. It's like, because he doesn't really understand like the economy and how it works and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, like, you could literally become rich off of this stuff. He's like, well, wouldn't that cause inflation? I don't know. I think inflation is the reason why the price went up. No, I don't think that would cause it. It's like, you're like taking, like, imagine you put in $100,000 in PLS, and PLS does like a 10,000x. Like, you're telling me you can take $100 million just out of nowhere?
There's so much going on in Pulse Chain. That's like, I just keep wanting to stress the fact that we're just number 6 now. Launched 5 months ago in a bear market with the SEC attacking Richard Hart. Like,
and the most validators.
Yeah, decentralized, most decentralized.
Dewey, when did you first come to Pulse Chain?
Oh, when it just started. I was following Richard for a very long time for some of the other stuff and just kind of educating myself in the space. And then when he made Hex, I made a plan. I put some money aside. I was ready to go, and different things happened. I was like, okay, I can't spend this money. And then, other things happen in the world, as we know. And so, I definitely didn't want to join in and do anything extra, but I always remembered, like, as I did some calculations, I was checking it out, I was having fun. I always followed, and I learned from Richard way before, he made anything. So when he made something, I was equally impressed and interested in what was going on. And even though I didn't get any, I always followed, and I was out of crypto for a very long time. So I finally decided to make a plan for the next bull. I missed Pulsechain Sacrifice. I got some Pulsex, a very small amount. But once I got bags, once I was ready to go at launch, all that stuff, I bought some Hex to try to swap. I just made a little plan together. I figured out something to do. And I was like, I'm coming in here. Until your friends saw me, I really didn't plan on being in here like this heavy. I really didn't plan on being in here this long and learning this much. I'm so thankful that I really understood and how to empower myself even further, like economically speaking, through this vehicle, because I already knew, like I said, I knew how many coins I would have had. I knew how much they would have been worth at the top. I knew what it would have done for me and my family. I knew what this vehicle was. When Pulsechain launched, I jumped in immediately. I didn't know anything, so I was trying to buy, wait it out, DCA. I tried to make a little plan. I bought all the way down. I bought to the bottom, and I bought the bottom, and I bought all the way back. You know what I'm saying? So I just been learning as I go, and I'm preparing for this bull because it's my first one for real. And Pulsechain is what's made me like not believe, but like feel for real, like I'm here. I'm ready to do this. So when I got in, I didn't fully know what it was, but as I've experienced what it is, and then the community has brought not just the thing, but now actually something going on that I'm actually part of. That's where I landed.
Awesome, man.
I'm an RH maxi, like have been for a few years now, and before it was just Hex, but at this point it is Pulsechain. And Pulsechain, like, we need to bring everybody in, period. Like, there's going to be some failures, like Richard has said all this. He's not going to endorse it. He basically just turned us loose, and we need to stick together ultimately. Foremost, like Richard says, focus on suck, you get suck. Focus on like win, you get win. So you don't shit on each other. We just bring in as much eyes as possible. There's so many possibilities, like so many amazing things being built right now just because of the opportunity that is Pulsechain, like because of the gas fees and the block times and the decentralization. Like, it's a whole new history being built right now.
Dude, every time I think that like we're running out of shit to launch, a whole week of new shit comes out. You know how hard it is to sit here all day and keep up with this?
Dude, we have 6 dexes. Okay, look at numbers. Like, go and look at the numbers. We are the number 6 chain, according to CoinGecko. Yesterday when I looked, Ethereum had 183,000 transactions. We had 212,000, like 40,000 more, like almost, 22%, something like that. We have six dexes. All of that volume, all those transactions going through 6 dexes. Like, we are about to blow the top off of shit. Like we're onboarding more and more people, like bigger influencers by the day. It's insane. Like, all we gotta do is support each other. Oh, that's another thing too. You look at like how many tokens we have compared to Ethereum. Like, people are complaining about how much shit's being launched on Pulsechain, and it's like, dude, we're not even a fraction of what Ethereum's got. Like, it's just crypto. Come on. Like, the best community wins, and that's why I'm saying, like, fuck, being haters anymore. Let's just like let the best community like flourish the most. Period.
And that's what you want, right? And that's what this point in time is. All the stuff's getting built, it's all getting released, the communities are being formed, right? So later on, when a scam artist comes over here and tries to launch something similar and tries to screw people out of their money, you know what to look for, right? Like, the people that are here building now believe in it, okay? Watch the people that come in near the peak of the bull market. They're like, haha, hey, I got a lot of snake oil for you.
I think now too, with onboarding, I've been trying to do this. It's a really good time to bring in people that are close to you, family and friends and stuff, because we're going to inevitably get people from different chains that are still active in crypto. And we're especially going to see it ramp up with ETH once ETH fees get more expensive again, as other projects start to come over and hear about the cheap fee environment and be able to do DeFi with stable coins for cheap, the whole bit. But now it's a really good risk to reward time to get new people in. So like, send your friends tokens, like let them figure out how to use the bridge, because to be honest, it's not easy to get money on Coinbase and then get in on a MetaMask and then get it across the bridge. It's not. So if you can, hold your friends' hands a little bit, give them some help, because now's the window.
Yeah, it's really important that when you're onboarding people to sit them down and show them how to do this. Just put yourself in your shoes back when you first started talking about crypto. It's very easy when you consume nothing but crypto to be like, oh yeah, just go do your DD and figure it out. No, like, you're the professional here, basically. Like, you're the one that needs to be sitting down and teaching them if you actually like genuinely want them to learn.
Here's the interesting part is The large majority of Pulse that is available to be purchased on the float in Pulsex in the major pairs is under 1 trillion PLS. So you've got over 90% that's gone with the wind. It's just not available because of the OA.
That's
And you
nuts.
have, well over 1 trillion already locked up in validators. So you've got like 6% of the supply that's actually in the hands of the overall community. And large majority of that is in what we call strong hands, right? It's just not going to get dumped on the market anytime soon. And so what
Yeah, because they're
happens when you
hexagons.
hexagons or not, people are realizing the opportunity at a 404 PLS coin, okay? Because there's individuals who sacrificed 30-40 million dollars to get down at these prices. That's why when you look at the chart, it bottomed just underneath of that and it's pretty much holding at that floor, which is ultimately the whale's
Yeah,
sacrifice.
I'm glad you bring that up because like they won't let it go under that. Like if you can get it at well, like it's probably not gonna let you get under their price. It's just like
If your cost basis as the whales is 4 zeros and a 4, the only reason in the world why you would sell it for less than that at a loss is because you need the money. But generally, if you're sacrificing $40 million in a black hole, you're probably a billionaire,
yeah.
right? So you probably
You
aren't
can
stressing.
rebound the price whenever you want to, and you think everyone else is going to go with you.
Right. So the point being is when just think about just when the amount of users just doubles, and you have less than 1 trillion PLS in the 6 major LPs. What the hell do you think happens to the price? I
It
don't
goes
think that
up.
people understand how scarce PLS coins actually are by any amounts from here.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I actually got a DM not too long ago from PLS Miami. He let me know that it was very easy. He just submitted his comment to the SEC just a few minutes ago, and it just took him just a couple minutes.
Wow. Look at this. Look at
Oh,
us.
see, it's super easy, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do mine as well, and I hope if nothing else, we center for a second and recognize what it is we have. It's the utmost power, right? To literally say we feel this way. I mean, let the AI speak for us, but it's gonna be represented. They're gonna take it November 28th or whatever. It's gonna happen. They're gonna have to bring it up there. It's gonna be in some sort of official something set somewhere. And when they say bring it out, one of y'all, they're gonna read one of y'all's or mine or whomever's. It's gonna happen. So yeah, let's do this.
I want to highlight Pulseformer said about that though too, because I didn't even realize that to this point that Richard wasn't as far as I know, because I'm not blocked. I see all his tweets. He's never said come represent me, come help me out, come fight for me. He's never said any of that bullshit. He's called out lawyers and he's called out lawmakers and he's called out the community to understand things, and then he's called us to comment about those things. And I never even realized that all of that was beneficial to him as well, but without him asking for anything. But and as well, totally beneficial to us because he is setting a precedent, fighting for us, having created Hex and having created Pulsechain. This all is going to benefit his case, which will benefit us all and blockchain in general.
Yeah, you think you're helping by making your tweet talking about oh man, the SEC sucks. Richard Hart's not a bad guy. Blah blah blah. Hex isn't a security. This is your way to provide your public comment on the situation officially, right? To where it can be read, it can be brought up, it can be heard in the case. So if you think that tagging Gary Gensler and calling him Gary Gensler is what's helping, that's not what's helping. What will help is if you provide comments, right? Official comments. And again, you can just have an AI write it for you. Just click it, you literally just click 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You can even submit it anonymously.
Oh man, yes, please. I think we got this. We'll do it all. I feel this. We're all here together. I feel that fire. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna, like I said, all the things you guys have talked about. I know I missed some of the space that you talked about, liquid loans and all that cool stuff, but I would love to learn about more. That's the next levels for me. I'm not there yet, but you guys keep putting out the fire stuff so I can learn. Please help. I love it. Y'all have a wonderful night though. All right. And blessings be to everybody. This is a moment to be grateful for and beyond blessed to be here. Like I said, many people are not aware of what's going on yet, but just being here and being aware and learning, that's enough for me. Thank you guys.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate you coming up here.